Hello, welcome to the Script Mistress, where we dive into the world of screenwriting. In this episode, we have an exclusive interview with the winner of our June challenge, Steve Rodgers. I'm your host, Amber Bosworth, and I couldn't be more thrilled to share this exciting episode with you. Amidst a pool of extraordinary talent, Steve's script appearances stood out like a shining star. The challenge was to weave a new tale inspired by a captivating image prompt, but with a twist. We added a line that had to be incorporated into the script. And any of my writers listening to this are going to roll their eyes because it wasn't a very fun line. It didn't make any sense, but they did amazing. And boy, did Steve rise to the occasion. In appearances, he takes us on a heart-wrenching journey through the lens of a broken fingernail, portraying the emotional roller coaster of a crumbling marriage with unparalleled finesse. It's amazing how a simple element like a fingernail can amplify the complexities of human relationships. Now, let's get to the interview. I hope you enjoy it. Hello, we are here with Steve Rodgers, who is our June Ink to Screen Challenge winner. Hi, Steve.
Hello.
How about tell us where are you located? Where are you writing from?
So I'm in Silverdale, Washington. It's about an hour away from Seattle.
Very nice. Yeah, I used to live in Oak Harbor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been there as well. I spent about 3 years there.
Yeah, I was in the Navy, so I was stationed there for 2 years. So yes, very nice.
I
I
am
love
as
it.
well.
You are?
Yeah, I am. I'm in the Navy.
I didn't know that. Look at
Yep.
that. What do you do?
I'm a YN.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was an AC, air
Oh,
traffic
okay.
control. Yep. Very nice.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Look at that. I learned something new. Well, awesome. So I'm pretty sure I already mentioned to people in the intro, the log line, but we'll go over it again. Your entry was appearances. An estranged couple meet to finalize their divorce, only to realize it's not as easy to move on as they thought. So yeah, so tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so this was actually the first idea I ever came up with for a script, but I did not know how to write it up until now. Um, but basically, it's the story of a couple who are trying to finalize their divorce. That's basically the whole scene in a nutshell. But I wanted to tell the story of a marriage falling apart through a fingernail, basically. And by the end of the story, the fingernail comes off, and it was my not so subtle way of putting the final nail in the coffin, so to speak. So
I didn't make that, but I could see that. It was just amazing. If anybody wants to read the script, they can read it at scriptmistress.com/ink winners. And I just loved, like I think I said in my feedback, I loved how there was so much that wasn't said. Like you did
mhm.
so well at just, I mean, I've been through divorce, so it's like it got those feelings. It was amazing. Like, yeah, it gave me goosebumps. I got the goosebumps again. That was
I
I loved it.
appreciate that.
Yeah, I loved it so much, and I think you did a great job. And this month, of course, the script or the prompt was a little different, and I loved how you incorporated it. You just had it as a picture. It was
Mhm.
perfect. So it worked really well. But I love that you got a chance and a platform to tell that story because that's an amazing script. So what else kind of inspired that? But I mean, I know the prompt really didn't, but what made you want to start telling that story? I know you said before, but.
So I've been through a divorce as well, and I think if you look back at my past scripts that I've submitted, it kind of plays a role in most of them. In fact, the names for the people in this script, Mark and Sam Zalowski, that's my little nod to a director who did a movie called Possession, and it was all about his divorce. Um, so yeah, he's quoted as saying, "Write what you know and write what you fear." So I've just always taken that to heart, and I think it comes off a little bit more true if you're obviously using a little bit more of what you've experienced, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely. And what kind of inspired you to tell it from the wife's point of view? What kind of made you kind of go that way?
So it was mostly the fingernail. So I wanted to basically it's the OCD of the wife standing in for the progress of a marriage, where when a marriage starts falling apart, when she gets the chip on her nail, um she tries to do a quick fix. And when she gets all the nail polish off, she thinks, okay, well, this is fixed. I've gotten over that. But then there's always something there that's just kind of still under the surface and just waiting to come up. So it, I guess it just wouldn't have worked for me if I had him with nice painted nails, is really what it comes down to.
Well, I like how that kind of forced it and created a different perspective, and you did it so well. I mean, as a woman reading it, and because you submit anonymously, like I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman writing, but I didn't even think about that. Like it wasn't even a thought. Like so you did very well. Yeah, let's say that again.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think for me, it wasn't about who was the male or the female. It was when I first came up with this story, there wasn't even dialogue. It was literally in my head, you're just basically focused on the hands the entire time. So it had less to do with who's right, who's wrong. This was just my way of trying to say this is what a marriage looks like when it falls apart.
Yeah, no, I love that. I thought you did that beautifully. So just to describe your screenwriting. I know both of us military, but describe your screenwriting journey.
Okay, this is going to be pretty short. So when let's see, September of last year, I reached out to another local, or not local, but frequent uh, contestant in this Anson Kessinger. We're friends in another movie group, and I reached out to him when I came up with the idea, and I was just asking him about how do you write a script? Like, how would I do this? And he said, hey, I do this monthly screenwriting contest, and September was the very first time I ever tried to write a script. So that's been my whole process.
That's great. And look at what you had and what you were able to create. And if I mean you've been on the finalists before. You know, you have a shining spot, I think, quite regularly. So that's great. And so many people can read your past stuff and kind of see the evolution and kind of seeing how it changed. But this one just knocked it out of the park. So besides Anson and having a great like community there, what else kind of like helped you as you were starting out?
I I honestly only looked up one script. I think it was the pilot script for Breaking Bad. And I did some research on that. Otherwise, it was basically just asking questions from who I could. And um but as a YN in the Navy, I kind of pick up on formatting and things like that pretty easily. So once I had the general format down, and I think if you look back at my previous scripts, um, every single time you would say, okay, well, this fade in was on the wrong side of the page. So after that month, it was always on the right side of the page. So um, yeah, it's just taking those little cues as I went through the months and kept going like that.
No, that's great. And see, to any, to people who are listening, it doesn't take like schooling or anything, like I probably said that wrong. But where there's a will, there's a way. Like, cause I went in and got my master's degree while I was in the military. But I love that because I realized I kind of like teaching and, guiding too. So I think that helped me more instead of the writing. So, but that's my tangent.
Sure.
All
Yeah.
right. So what's kind of like a screenwriting or your writing mindset, or do you have like a technique or something you kind of do to get into the space?
So my favorite thing to do when I write these scripts is to try my favorite kind of stories build up tension and then release the tension in a way that is satisfying because the tension's gone, but unsatisfying because of how it was resolved. So the goal is, for me anyway, to try to get you to be like, oh, I'm thankful that it happened that way, but wait, that's crazy that it happened that way. Why do I like that it happened that way? um so that's always kind of my goal. I obviously write more on the horror side most of the time, um just because that's what interests me. Um, but yeah, those are kind of always my goals, just to try to find not necessarily a twist, but just a way to build tension and release it in an unsatisfying way.
I never really thought of it that way. Yes. I like that. And I think that's why I could feel that in your script. Because I also direct community theater, and sometimes they don't like me because I'm like, make it more uncomfortable. Like,
Mm-hmm.
get in the pauses, and it's okay if you feel uncomfortable because the audience probably doesn't yet. You feel more uncomfortable than they.
Sure.
So I always push that, like, you can make it more uncomfortable. It's okay as long as there's a resolution,
Yeah.
because I don't care about like good endings or bad endings or like happy or sad, but you need a resolution still, even in 5 pages, which I think, you did really good with this script too. So I mean, you have you and Anson, and I'm sure another group you said. So when you read another writer's script, what impresses you like with writing, and what are some things that you like, you don't particularly like?
I'm always impressed with the dialogue that I read. I think that's one of my favorite things about script writing, is just being able to read dialogue, and it's so heavily about that as long as you've got a halfway decent imagination to fill in the blanks, then you get to basically make these short films in your head every time. So I love that about reading scripts. I will go to my grave fighting with Anson about the term "we see." I still to this day think that I should be allowed to use it. He has convinced me every single month not to. So,
Well, and then
but
you
yeah,
would get a yell. Have I yelled at you about that, or given you a note on
I've
that?
never used it.
Okay,
I've
good.
never used we
Because
see. Yeah, yeah.
I do kind of, because it's easy or to explain it. It's, you take me, like, as the reader, like, you take me out of the film. We
Hmm.
see, who's we? It's me. It's just
Yeah,
me. So just tell me what I'm seeing. You see,
yeah.
that's kind of what it is. That's what I try to explain, because you're not the only one. A lot of like beginning writers put that we see, we hear. Like, just tell
Uh-huh.
me what happened. A
Sure.
cat meowed. Just tell me. We see, we hear. You kind of take me out of it. So don't burst the bubble. Don't break the fourth wall in the
Yep.
script. That's kind of what that does. All right, so, I mean, you just started out, I mean, very, very new. That's great. So, what are some tips you'd like to give to somebody also just starting out?
I mean, the number one tip is don't ever think that you can't do it. When I remember when Anson talked me into doing it, I was just sitting there thinking, this is, why am I even doing this? This is crazy. Um, but it's, even if you don't win, like I've done this, I think 6 times now, 5 or 6 times. This is my first win. Um, I just look back and I love every story that I've written. So if you enjoy doing it, if you enjoy the thought of telling a story, just write it. I've always believed that. So yeah, that's my big advice. Just do it.
I love it. I love that advice. Yes. And I love that too. Loving your stories. That feels me like I'm doing my job then, if you're creating stuff that you're enjoying and you can go back in and look at it. If it's just a one-off or it's something you could expand on later, that is really like, that makes me happy. So,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything that you're currently working on, like bigger than just the inked screen?
So um, I want to write a full length screenplay. I've been toying around with the idea of turning one of my older scripts into one, but don't necessarily think I'm there yet as far as confidence level. But yeah, just taking it slowly. This is kind of just my hobby at the moment. I've always done music more than screenplays, but
Oh, great.
definitely getting into screenplays much more these days. So yeah, hopefully one day I'll have a full length or possibly like an anthology of some type of just the smaller stories.
Yeah, no, that's great. With something where you could have like an ongoing theme, I think that would be amazing. So
Mhm.
is there any, I guess since you just started, not really any place we could catch you writing besides ink to screen, ink, right?
Ink to
Ink
screen.
winners,
That's
yep.
it.
So, and then, so last I like to end it. So what is your favorite thing about writing for the ink to screen challenge?
It's my favorite, but it's also my least favorite. It's waiting for the prompt. It's like this month's prompt. I won't say anything about it, but I do love the prompt. I've got a great story lined up for it. But yeah, it's the anticipation of that email at midnight, and then either the hey, I can work with this, or the oh, what am I going to do with this? So yeah, that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah. Well, what was your least favorite prompt? Does that stick out?
My least favorite prompt that I've written on was the rainbow and the mountain. But I will say that I think that's one of my best stories. So, least favorite prompt turned into one of my favorite things that I've done.
Well, I mean, Anson won that one. Like,
Yeah, yeah, he did. He won that one as well.
yeah, because he absolutely hated that one too, and I loved it. And I kind of, it kind of laughed, and I thought about you guys, or not. I mean, I thought about Anson too. Like with this last one, I'm like, oh, he's not gonna like this one. I got a lot of sarcastic, like that's this that. What does that even mean? Like a lot of people like in their dialogue, what does that even mean? That doesn't even make sense. And I'm like, I know. So it made me laugh. But I did have like in mind, not so all summary, and I think Anson did. He did recommend like something, and I had been thinking about that anyway. So
Mhm.
I'm excited for this month's prompt. So everybody's just gonna have to stay tuned. Well, thank you so much, Steve. I can't wait to read your next one. That's my favorite part, is reading your guys' stuff. So thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Oh my God. I mean, I say this every time, I know, but that was an incredible interview. I had no idea we had so much in common, and that was just awesome to realize during that interview. I can't even begin to describe like how much joy it brings me to interview our challenge winners. It feels like I'm living my purpose, helping to showcase these brilliant minds and their captivating scripts. Together, we're igniting sparks of inspiration that light up the storytelling universe. I mean, and just in this time when all the strikes are going on, and it kind of seems hard to be a writer or in the entertainment industry whatsoever, ink to screen, I love how it brings people together and it still keeps you writing. That's the biggest thing. I mean, I love writing, I really do, but honestly I love helping and running this, and it just brings me so much joy to know that I'm helping or inspiring these stories that we might not have been able to experience otherwise. Now, hold your quills, hold the typewriter there, the keyboard, because if you missed the boat this time, fret not. The Ink to Screen July Challenge just finished last week, but you can still hop aboard for next month. There's no such thing as too late in this magical realm of imagination. And hey, guess what? Next month's challenge is gearing up too. So make sure you reserve your spot for the thrilling August challenge at thescriptmistress.com/ink to screen. And you won't believe the talent we unearthed in June. And I can't wait to start delving into the writers of July, because they've already submitted all their scripts. I can't wait to read them all. Steve Script's appearances struck chords in all the right places, but he wasn't the only one who blew my mind. The other remarkable finalists deserve their moment in the spotlight too. If you're itching to read their awe-inspiring scripts, you can easily down them from the website at thescriptmistress.com/ink winners with an S. Now, really get ready to be amazed, inspired, and whisked away on journeys beyond your wildest dreams. So, fellow adventurers of the written word, let's keep the creativity flowing, the pen scribbling, and the imagination soaring high. Together, we're crafting tales that touch hearts and minds, leaving an indelible mark on the world. So stay tuned for more thrilling challenges, insightful interviews, and opportunities to showcase your brilliance. We're here to celebrate and uplift each other on this thrilling literary adventure. So sending heaps of gratitude, thank you, and creative energy your way. So in this episode, we're taking a break from the archetype series. We only have like 2 or 3 left in the archetype series. Instead, I want to just remind you that we have a collection of free guides and templates that can enhance your writing skills. Check out our free logline cheat sheet, which will help you perfect those log lines for when you're ready to pitch your amazing scripts. You can download it at thescriptmistress.com/scene 37. Join our Facebook page at Ink to Screen on Facebook and share your insights. Your ideas might just inspire someone else. No idea. And again, I do have the YouTube channel. If you're watching this, it's on video too. You can catch it on that Scene 37 website as well, if you want to see my face. And thank you again for tuning into this episode. Your feedback means the world to me. If you have any podcast ideas that you think could be helpful for you, feel free to email me at amber@thescriptmistress.com. And don't forget to like and follow this show wherever you're listening. Until next time, happy writing and talk to you soon.